Okay, so one other thing that I want to show you guys, this is more like student-led assessment. I hope you can see that okay. I've been calling them prove it projects. So what I've been doing is I basically turn the scale into a rubric. And yes, I do kind of adapt the scale. So on this particular scale, this was actually 3 different targets, and I kind of threw them all in this scale just because I wanted to see what the kids would do with it. But I showed them just bare bones what the expectations of a level 3 was. I threw in a couple level 2s that were pretty bare bone, and then a level 4 if they were interested in that. And I was like, okay guys, your goal is to prove to me what you know. The first time I presented a prove it project to any of my kids, they kind of freaked out. They're like, well, yeah, but do we need a border? Do we need colors? Do we need, I'm like, guys, that's not the point here. And I started talking to them. My example that I gave was, do you know how to multiply your single digit numbers? Do you know your multiplication facts? They're like, well, yeah. I was like, okay, prove it to me. And the kid's like, what? I was like, prove to me that you know your multiplication facts. And the kid's like, okay, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. And he just started, rambling them off. And I pointed to another kid. I said, do you know your multiplication facts? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, you prove to me that you know what it is. He's like, okay, give me a multiplication problem. I'm like, interesting. So you know your multiplication facts, you know your multiplication facts, but how you're proving it is different. And that's okay, as long as you're proving to me that you know how to do it. This was a prove it project where the level 3 was they have to prove to me that they know how to convert from customary units to metric units in length, mass, and capacity. And so that's your goal. I said, whatever you do, that's your goal. You have to prove to me that you can do those 3 things to get a 3. And down at the bottom, I give them some examples, some possible ideas. You could make a poster. I had a kid make a comic strip that was really cool. It was like a teacher teaching a student how to do these things, so that proved it, right? Some kids are just like, just give me some math problems. And so I was like, well, I won't give you any, but you can come up with some. I had a lot of kids use Google Slides and make PowerPoints. They were really into that. I did have one group of 2 students that came up with a rap on how to convert from US customary to metric units. That was really funny. So it was just cool to see how the kids chose to prove what they know. And obviously there were some kids who were so focused on, oh, I'm making Google Slides, that they forgot to actually prove what they knew. So they did not get as high on the scale, but that's something that I could have a conversation with them about. And I was like, you know how to turn feet into inches, right? How do you do that? And they would give me a little snippet. I'm like, okay, so how do we turn feet into meters? How do we do that? And we could just have that conversation, and that was really cool.